Friends, we are at Jerusalem. It's Mount of Olives, actually. In front of you can see the Hebrew University on Mount Campus. The other side is the Judean desert, and the old city of Jerusalem is just there. And we are at HaMasu'ot, on top of Mount of Olives. In front of us is Yuval Marcus, and he is excavator. He's doing it. And you can do that too. And he will explain you how to do that. Please.
Okay, so hi, welcome. I'm Yuval from the Temple Mount Sifting Project. Here we sift and find ancient artifacts from the Temple Mount. About 22 years ago, very large-scale illegal dig took place on the Temple Mount. Enormous amounts of earth, about 9,000 tons,
Wow.
400 truckloads, were dug by bulldozers on the Temple Mount and thrown away like garbage. And what we do in our project for about 15 years is try to find all the ancient artifacts hiding there and to discover the past of the Temple Mount. This is the only archaeological project ever done with actual Temple Mount earth, because the Temple Mount is too holy, too sensitive, so nobody ever got the chance to do actual archaeological work with the Temple Mount. Right behind me, you can see.
Can you just mention who was doing the illegal excavation?
The illegal dig took place by the Islamic Waqf, which is the Islamic religious trust in charge of holy places for Islam, that wanted to make a new opening for a new mosque under the floor of the Temple Mount, but they did so without any plans, any certification, supervision.
Yeah, they all right. They actually deleted.
Doing so, they caused irreparable archaeological damage.
Yes.
Plus, the disablement of some of the walls of the Temple Mount, the southern and eastern walls of the Temple Mount, were under danger of collapse until it was fixed. Right behind me
yes.
is earth from the Temple Mount. So far, since our project started about at the end of 2005, we got the chance to sift about almost 80% of the material. We have a couple more years of work to do. Most of the work is down in the valley where we started the project. And here you see a pile that we currently sift. And we take the raw material of the Temple Mount. We take out the big stones and most of the dust, and then we get it into our working area. And this is where the public gets to be part of this work. We receive people coming from all over the world in all ages that have a chance to actually do some of the sifting themselves and help us find and actually save all the finds from the Temple Mount. So,
then what actually you say? This is from the Holy Temple Mount. It's not just regular stones.
These are stones of the Temple Mount.
All right, can I touch it?
Be my guest.
All right, we are touching it. We are touching it. I'm doing it now for you. And as he said, Yuval said, you can excavate with us. Then don't forget, when you are in Jerusalem, HaMasu'ot, it's one of the most important sites for you. Then.
Okay, so please join me as we enter into our working area.
Amazing, isn't it? Now, you're going to see the real thing now. I want you to understand that you're going to do the too. Oh, wow. Look at that. All right, can you explain us what's happening here?
Okay, so toda raba. So this is our working area, and this is where we get people to come help us and sift the earth. Our method is a method that was developed for finding very small finds. Usually it's used in prehistorical digs, but we developed it as we can use it for regular archaeology, and we find much more stuff than you do when you do the sifting without using the water. So we put the earth of the Temple Mount into buckets, and we add water. We immerse it in water, and then once the public comes, they pick a bucket. Can you please help us? Okay. And
I mean, she's you. You can do exactly what she is doing. All right.
and you pour the bucket into the sifter.
Yeah. Wow.
Now you make sure nothing remains in the bucket because we might lose an important find in the mud left in the bucket, even a small bead or a coin. And then we spread the material and we wash all the mud. As you wash the mud, you begin seeing colors and shapes.
Yes.
And you can actually start collecting finds. Now, we divide our finds to 6 main categories. And you don't always find all 6 in one bucket. Usually you do. And let's see what's hiding in this bucket. Obviously, like all archaeology, you have a lot of pottery. Pottery is very here. Let's put the pottery in this cup. Pottery is a very cheap material used in all periods since it was invented, and most vessels were made of pottery. So we have a lot of pottery. Pottery is very important because it gives us indication of the human activity and of the time. Now here is a piece of rusty iron. So metal is another category that we collect. Let's put the metal over here. And here we have a piece of flat surface plaster. This is plaster that has ashes added to the lime, so it gives it some
Strong. I mean,
some
character.
it gives it some flexibility and a little bit durability to water and frost. Let's put the special stones over here. And here, this is really cool. We have a bone.
A bone. Wow.
So the bones tell us about the animals that were used on the Temple Mount.
Sacrifice.
And so far, we have very high percentage of sheep, goats in very young ages, 1 year up to 3 years, which corresponds with the laws of sacrifices.
Just like the Bible mentioned, and you didn't find pork, for example.
Well, we find some pigs and wild boar.
Really?
Because unfortunately the temple was destroyed. Later come the Romans and the Byzantines.
True.
And they don't keep kosher.
True.
Later come the Crusaders.
that.
They used to hunt these animals and also eat them. And on the temple was the main headquarters of the Knights Templar. So we find a lot of arrowheads, Crusader arrowheads. We find horseshoes from Solomon's stables.
Wow.
Which were used by the Crusaders, the Knights Templar, as their stables. And we actually have a lot of Crusader coins. We have the biggest Crusader coin collection in Israel in archaeology because it was such a central place for the Crusaders. So there's a lot of pottery here.
Yeah, I'm looking for coins, but you know, yes. Oh, glass! Wow, wow, wow!
Let's put the glass over here.
This glass as well?
Yeah. We collect the modern stuff as well as the old stuff because it's a part of the story of the Temple Mount, and we're interested in all of it. So we study all the periods.
This is clay.
Yeah, pottery. Everything is pottery. We have more pottery.
Ravi, we're expecting you
pottery.
to find a coin.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the sign. This is my temple.
Okay, these are natural stones. We don't need them. And
Is this part of something? Because it's
natural.
or
It's natural.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the stones we see are natural stones. Look here. Here are some more pieces of metal. Now, all the things that we find are later sorted and sent to our laboratory, where we have experts for every field. So we have an expert for First Temple period pottery, and we have an expert for Second Temple period and Roman and Crusader pottery. We have an expert for glassware.
This is metal?
We send the metal right there.
Yes.
We send the metal for special cleaning in a special laboratory, and everything that we collect is actually pieces of evidence of the human activity of the Temple Mount. So we try to extract as much information as possible, and we get a good picture of what used to be on the Temple Mount. We have a lot of knowledge from history and the scriptures, and what we find here enhances it and gives it more color and more flavor. You can actually see in your eyes a lot of the things that were described in the scriptures. Okay, here we have another bone, small one. Still, we collect the small bits as well as the big ones, and some of them may be of great importance. כמה אתה רוצה שנמשיך?
That's it. I mean, yeah.
אתה רוצה שנצא לראות את
Yeah,
השחזור של
yes,
הרצפה?
yes.
Okay.
Yuval, can you tell us, for example, when there's a group here, a family coming in, how many people would be standing around one of these
Usually
working spots?
we work in teams of pairs. Usually have 2 people working on a sifter. If a family wants to stay together, 3 or 4, it's okay. But we find it that when you have 2 people, the responsibility is not just on one person on the one hand, but on the other hand, each person has his own space.
It's a bonding, sharing. And when I
at
say
the end of the work, of course, our staff come and check to make sure you didn't miss anything. We don't want to throw by mistake any archaeological find. And our staff is available for any question that you have, because most people, it's their first time to encounter all these amazing things, and you don't always know to tell apart the stone from the...
And when I say a family, children as well.
Of course. We have children from the age that you can stand and look for stuff.
Yeah, look at that.
And we have also 90 years old children.
Oh like me.
You get the spark. Everybody gets the spark of being a discoverer and finding
and it can be part of the tour at Mount of Olives, at Jerusalem. It's like 2 hours, 3 hours.
It's about 2-hour activity.
Yes.
And you get a description of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. A short video about our project.
True, we saw it. Yeah.
And when you finish the work, we go over some of the things that you find, and we try to get the deeper meaning behind, for instance, a piece of pottery like this that has these ridges. So this, for instance, is a part of a large containing jar. This looks from the Byzantine period.
Byzantine time.
Which means it's about 1700 years old.
Only.
And only 1700 years old.
I'm touching it for you. Can you feel the energy?
Yeah. And this is used for storage. On the other hand, we find cooking pots for cooking. We find weapons, coins, and
and then everything that you will see in the museum tomorrow, you can touch and find it today here at HaMasu'ot. Can you show us the
I want
floor?
to show you. This is the beginning of you find a stone, you don't always realize what it was. So I want to show you what one of our staff was able to put together from simple stones that were found.
Amazing.
Just where they put the findings from each sifting.
That's the big jar of. Oh yeah, all right.
Okay.
And you actually can be the Indiana Jones. Although I'm sure that you don't like that term.
Marcus Jones. Yeah.
Okay, so what we have over here is a reconstruction of the floors of the Temple Mount from the time of King Herod. Now, we were able to put together these designs after starting to identify the triangles that we found as Herodian triangles, because one of our staff, Asaf, noticed that you have the same triangles in Herod's palace in Masada.
Masada, for example.
And then you saw it in Jericho, Caesarea, all of Herod's palaces. This is a very rich Roman style known as opus secta, like cut work. And once we identified these as Herodian, another staff member came, Frankie Snyder, which is actually not an archaeologist, she's a mathematician. And she started measuring. She saw that all the dimensions fit the Roman foot, which is the general dimension used by King Herod. And then she started doing geometry, and she checked the angles to, make sure that the triangles, they're not always intact. you have a missing point or another broken piece. She compared these to Herod's designs in his palaces, and she saw which triangle fits which square, and so on and so on. And eventually she was able to put together some of the designs that were seen by pilgrims coming to the Temple Mount 2,000 years ago. So a couple of months ago, we got these. These are cut from modern stones. These are not the originals. We don't put the originals out to the elements.
Yes,
But
and you
these
don't
were
want to do
cut
that.
exactly by the dimensions. So since we put this over here, I had a couple of groups already finding actually 2 triangles and 1 square. And as we were standing here, you put the triangle on this triangle, the triangle that you just found, and you see that it fits exactly.
And that's, I think, unique to King Herod.
Well,
The
the
exact
style was
measures.
used by others, but these specific triangles are unique to King
Yes,
Herod.
triangles.
And today Frankie is probably the top expert worldwide for the Opus Seculi floor tiles. And this is amazing information. Took her about 9 years of hard work and amazing thought to be able to put it together. And every once in a while, when we find another piece, she's trying to put it in the right place in the great
Amazing.
puzzle. Now, this is amazing information for archaeology. I think it's amazing for people wanting to know what it used to be like on the Temple Mount 2,000 years ago, to be able to see it in your eyes and even touch it with your hands. And to me,
Oh,
it's
and you
even
know that I'm
amazing-
going to do that.
And to me, it's really amazing to think and to try to imagine who stepped on these 2,000 years ago. The priests, the Levites, and all the people of Israel, and visitors from all over the world.
And can I have Jesus?
Of course.
All right, he was in the
They all
temple 3
stepped
times a
on
year.
these.
Yeah,
He made his pilgrimage to
of course, 3 times a year.
and,
Here on Hanukkah as
and they were
well.
all stepping on these barefoot because you took off your shoes before you entered
Yes.
the holy place. So this is an example what can come out of a small stone that you find in the project. It's all a part of the great picture of what used to be in Jerusalem many years ago.
And now when you know it, you will come to here. I mean, with HaMasu'ot. I will write all the details and the inscriptions, and then you will know everything. You know what to do.
Yeah, you can look us up in the internet. TMSP is our site.
I will add it, of course.
And you're all welcome. Right there, we have an original. This is not a replica.
Oh,
Most of the stuff that we find are small stuff, but every once in a while the bulldozer took out a big stone. Most of them were left on the Temple Mount by the Waqf.
Yeah, so
This
some.
came out, and this is a Doric style capital. It actually should be on the top, holding
this
the.
is the capital
you can
of
see
the
it.
column?
It's a capital of the column.
Yeah.
The Doric style is the oldest Greek classical style of the 3 classical styles: the Doric, the Ionic, and the Corinthian.
Yes.
And we know King Herod used the Corinthian style at the south of the Temple Mount, and this is probably pre-Herodian, which
True.
means it's probably from the Hasmonean Temple Mount. Now we know King Herod left the eastern portico of the Temple Mount without repairing it, and this is probably from the eastern portico. And I believe this is where Jesus entered.
Yeah.
And from the eastern gate. The
Yeah,
Golden
true.
Gate,
The
right?
golden guy.
So this is probably from the eastern portico of the Temple Mount.
Amazing!
I have a question. In the city of David, there's also like a new piece of.
Let me touch it for you.
It's exactly the same. Both of them.
Design.
Well, it's both of them were done by the dimensions found out by Frankie. They made it a little bit bigger, and over there they put. I think they had a higher
Different
budget.
designs, yeah.
They had a higher budget, so they were able to make some of the more elaborate designs. These are the simple designs.
Right, they have different
And
patterns.
they have
different
examples
patterns.
of some of the more elaborate designs,
right,
but
right.
all of them were found by the Temple Mount Sifting Project.
You made
and
my
put together
day.
by Frankie Snyder.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. You made my day. I think you made their day as well.
We love to have you coming here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joining our
Yes,
project.
please do that with me, without me, it doesn't matter. Come and touch history and find history.
And it's amazing to hear it from an archaeologist.
Yes, true. And not from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
Bye
much.
bye.